My name is Amanda. I am 25 years old, and this is the story of how my life turned upside down, how I fell, stumbled, learned, and rose again. I was born into a wealthy family. I was their only daughter, their shining treasure, and their greatest joy. My father is a famous lawyer, respected by everyone who knows him, and my mother is no different, strong, intelligent, and admired in legal circles just as much as he is. Because I was their only child, I became their spoiled little princess. All my requests were granted without hesitation. If I wanted something, they would give me 2, 3, or even more. If I asked for chocolate, they would buy me the whole box. If I wanted a toy, they would bring me more than one. I still remember one moment very clearly. I once asked my mother for a doll, and she came back with 3, one small, one large, and one medium, because she couldn't choose. And so, I grew up wrapped in softness, protected from everything harsh in the world, believing that life would always bend gently to my wishes. But nothing in life remains the same. One day, everything changed when my parents lost all their money in the stock market. The wealth that once surrounded us vanished almost overnight. I saw the fear in my mother's eyes and the heaviness in my father's silence. The house felt different, colder, quieter, and painfully unfamiliar. Then came the day my mother sat beside me, placed her trembling hand on mine, and said softly, "Amanda, I know you've never worked before, but you have to work now. Your father and I can't support you anymore. We've lost everything, and we can't work like we used to. We're too old and too tired." She looked at me with a kind of sorrow that pierced my heart. "You have to work to cover your daily expenses. I know it won't be easy for you, but the job market is vast. Find a job that suits you. Be positive, and choose something that meets your needs and preserves your dignity." Those words echoed in my mind long after she left the room. For the first time in my life, reality had struck me like a cold wave. I had to work. Me, Amanda, who had never even washed a dish without complaining. Still, I tried. My first job was with one of my mother's relatives. I thought working with family would make things easier. I imagined she would treat me kindly, maybe even gently. But I was wrong. She was harsh, strict, and completely indifferent to family ties. All that mattered to her was getting the job done, regardless of the circumstances or the pressure it put on me. I had no special treatment, no understanding, no mercy. A month later, I quit. I drifted from one job to another, exhausted and confused. Every job was harder than the last. I had never known what it meant to work long hours, to deal with demanding people, or to feel the ache of real effort. I didn't understand hardship, not until I experienced it myself. Eventually, I grew so worn out that I sat at home jobless, staring at the ceiling and hearing my mother's voice in my mind again and again. "Find a job that suits you, something that preserves your dignity." One afternoon, while browsing job listings, I saw an advertisement from a prestigious bank. They were seeking a woman fluent in Japanese. My heart skipped a beat. I had learned Japanese years ago just for fun. My parents had hired a private tutor simply because I liked Japanese cartoons as a child. I never imagined that skill could save my future. It was my chance. I applied immediately. The interview process was tough, but for the first time in my life, I fought hard. I prepared, studied, and pushed myself in ways I had never done before. When the acceptance email arrived, I burst into tears, not because I was afraid, but because I finally felt proud of myself. Today, I work at that bank. I provide for my own needs. I stand on my own feet. My job preserves my dignity, just as my mother wished. I am no longer the spoiled child who waited for life to hand her everything. I am Amanda, a woman who fell, learned, and rose stronger than ever. And now, for the first time, I can say it sincerely. I am proud of who I've become.